Hi, welcome to the Dream EV YouTube channel. I'm Christopher and this is Zach, and today we're going to drive our Tesla powered Vanagon until it runs out of batteries.
We're going to fit a car show in the middle.
Should be fun, so come along. We're going to answer every one of your questions along the way. I promised them that we're going to get rid of that noise. Okay, here's the poop. Our Vanagon has a bunch of batteries in it. These batteries are lithium polymer, lithium ion, something like that. Some sort of exotic chemistry, you know, real like space age shit. There is a range at which these batteries are happy. The total pack is content between a range of 316 volts and 400 volts. Right now we're currently charged to the max, and our BMX is configured to give us alerts whenever we go above or below the happy range of the pack. And at that point, we're going to get the Star Trek Next Generation red alert noise. We can probably induce that noise real quick here by coming to an abrupt stop and using our regenerative braking, pushing the voltage of one or two individual cells past its happy point, thus triggering an alert. Zach, what do you say? Let's see, can we do it?
Yes, we can.
We can do it. Our BMS is configured to the range of the pack. So we're going to be keeping an eye on the voltage as it drops. When it gets to the point where the alarm turns on, we're going to start looking for a place where we can pull off to the side of the road and load up on a trailer. Until then, we're going to go out, drive around, and we're going to answer a whole bunch of questions. We got a stack of them. First question, Zach. What type of motor does it use?
Tesla small drive unit.
Yep. Out of a Model 3, I want to say a couple other models have it, but it's a small one. Another question that comes directly after that is, did you use the small one because of space considerations? No, exactly. You know, we have plenty of room in the back. We could have made it work, but I like the looks of the small one, and the power increase of the large one wasn't really a primary concern. Like, I don't want this thing any more powerful than it needs to be. It's already too powerful.
Yeah, a large unit would have been kind of ridiculous.
Kind of ridiculous. It would have been ridiculous. Proper ridiculous. We did some 0 to 60 tests, and we'll see that later in the show. But this is as fast as I've ever wanted a car to be. Did we use the Tesla motor over, let's say, a Net Gain Hyper 9 or a Simmons unit?
Why?
Why did we use it?
We used it because we didn't want to destroy transmission.
That's exactly the reason. So you can run motors from industry, let's say forklift motors. You can run those straight up to a manual transmission, and you can have that go out to the rear wheels. If you hot dog it and really pound it every once in a while, there's a chance you could break something. These stock Volkswagen transaxles from the factory were made to handle like 68 horsepower. And here we are pushing, what, 5 times that?
And it's not the horsepower, it's the torque.
It's the torque. And you get
So
all of
much
that
torque.
from 0.
Half shafts. People snap half shafts. People destroy transmissions.
Yep. So, you know, we did the math. We said, what does a beefed up transmission cost in the event that we broke it? And then it basically washed out. So, you know, it made sense for us.
And if it makes sense financially, I mean, technically, it definitely makes sense.
And dollars. Okay, here's a question about how we mounted the motor. Why did we solid mount the brackets? Why did we not make like a frame that could be bolted up to the frame rails?
Yeah, and I believe his argument in the question was because the original motor mounts were bolt-in motor mounts.
Yes.
But that's because the motor mounts went underneath the motor, and to remove the motor in this car, you drop it out the bottom, so you have to drop the motor mounts and drop the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why they were originally bolt-ins from the factory in this car.
Yep. Yeah, a subframe is a benefit for the manufacturing process. They can join entire subframes to chassis in one fell swoop and 6 bolts. We don't really have that concern. We're putting things in and out by hand, And for us, a hard-mounted frame made more sense rather than to fuss with more bolts and more attachment points and more points of failure. Okay, here's a section on batteries. Section 2, I guess. Batteries. Where are the batteries?
Batteries are underneath the car, nestled between the frame rails.
Yep, they take up as much space as we can between the frame rails, front and back, left and right, as far as we can go. And it's about the same height as the stock gas tank. So we're not really taking up any more space under the van than was previously taken up. Are they Tesla batteries?
They are not Tesla batteries.
They are from a Chrysler Pacifica hybrid. It's the minivan that you see floating around. They all have 4 modules in it apiece. We have 12 of those modules. 6 pairs of 2 ran in series.
With these, they're individual modules about the size of a car battery, and so you can put them where you need them in any configuration and then wire them up as needed.
So for capacity, each module comes in at 2.6 kilowatt hours. 12 of them total up to 32 kilowatt hours. What's our plan for battery cooling? The pack was designed out of aluminum because it is a thermally conductive material. The heat sinks that are available for these modules are also aluminum. I'm pretty confident in our ability to fab in an aluminum heat sink if we so choose. But right now, it's not really on the plan.
So, when we started this whole project, we were leaning heavily on the expertise of people who had been doing this for a little while. And they said for this build, thermal management is not necessary. And then we went to school, and through all of those, we learned you should put thermal management in your batteries.
You really should. If you can at all afford it, if packaging and consideration allows it, you should do thermal management.
That being said, we are not going to go like drag race this thing or take it on long haul trips, so it should be fine, but I could see at some point us dropping the pack and putting thermal management on these batteries.
Okay, here's a question. How long do the batteries last? It's an interesting answer, okay? Because manufacturers are required by law to warranty their battery for 8 years. So, we can assume our batteries are going to last at least 8 years. Or else they wouldn't really be warrantying these batteries.
Yeah,
they couldn't afford to.
They would figure out a way to make it last 8 years if they have to warranty it for 8 years.
Some research has estimated that electric batteries can last between 10 and 20 years, assuming you take care of your battery.
You know, there's a lot of factors that go into it. If you are a daily commuter, you come home, plug your car in, it charges all night long, you get up and go to work, you're probably going to get the max life out of your batteries.
Yeah, anytime you really kind of push your vehicle, you're going to be increasing the rate at which the pack degrades. So if you regularly launch 0 to 60 like a bat out of hell because you just put a stupid grin on your face, well, your pack is not going to last that long, but you know, you'll probably live longer because you're laughing, so it evens out.
Yeah, pick your poison.
Okay, charging. Zach, how do we charge this bad boy?
Oh, there is a plethora of ways to charge this bad boy. I guess first off, you start by saying, anywhere you can plug in a Chevy Bolt, you can plug this in. J1772 is pretty much standard on all American electric vehicles at this point, except for Teslas. But even then, there's adapters that you can transfer, you know, from Tesla to J1772. So, but you have to own a Tesla to have an account.
How long does it take to get to a full charge? Or maybe some nerdy stuff like 15 minutes on a charge gets us X amount of more miles, or whatever that breaks down to. The rate and the speed of the charge of the pack is entirely dependent on 2 things. How much juice the car can take, and how much juice the charger can provide. In your onboard car charger, there's a tiny resistor that acts as a handshake between that and the charger, and they agree on the voltage that's passed between them. So, if you had a little dinky charger, you would only get a little dinky trinkle of charge. To charge at our house, where this guy lives at night, we charge on 110 slow charging. And that is capped at, I want to say, like 1.4 kilowatts an hour. Something real low. 110 AC level 1 chargers output a range between 1.3 and 2.4 kilowatts an hour. Assuming your car does an average of 3 miles per kilowatt hour, you're looking at 3 to 7 or 8 miles per hour of charge on an AC level 1 charger. So real slow, overnight levels. But that's okay, because the slower you charge your pack, the longer it lasts. Now, AC level 2, that bumps the voltage up to 220 volts. And you have a much larger range at which you can charge at. You can go anywhere from 3 kilowatts to 19 kilowatts of power an hour. So for us, when we charge from an empty pack, it will probably take about 20 hours, is my guess. How much does it cost to charge? Zach?
The short answer is, if you plug it in at home, about 10 cents a kilowatt.
And the long answer is, if you charge it somewhere else, about to 40 cents. Somewhere about 40 cents a kilowatt. And that's directly from Charge America's membership rates.
And we have a 32 kilowatt hour battery, so if it was totally dead and we charged it all the way up, it would cost us $3.
Yep. And our estimate says about 100 miles of range, so $3 to go 100 miles. That's $1 for every 30 miles. Question we get a lot, maybe not a lot, but a question we've gotten more than once is, can you put solar panels on the roof to supplement the charge? And that's a good question, because, you know, there is power coming from the sun. Solar panels will grab it and convert it into electricity. Well, technically you can. People do it for campers. Whether or not it would supplement your pack in any meaningful way, the answer for today and the technology we have today is no. There was a person who has, he's driving around the world completely solar powered. He's got 40 kilowatts of range. He drives probably maybe 110 miles a day, and he pulls over and he charges on 12 solar panels that are each double the size of the roof of his van.
Yeah, he's pulling a trailer, and when he parks, it unfolds like a piece of origami, and like, it's huge, this solar array.
Yeah.
I wonder where he's going to park. It'll be very interesting to see.
Yeah, like,
so we have to be very selective with where he can stay.
So now we're kind of into the miscellaneous questions. All right, Zach, what's the 0 to 60 time?
Funny you should ask, because we just figured that out the other day.
This is us, 0 to 60. That's fun. Okay. 5.4 seconds.
Friggin' heck.
Freaking heck, man. That's pretty good.
5.4 seconds, so that's pretty good.
All right, next question has to do with our power assist features in this vehicle. Power steering and power brakes. And the question usually goes is, did you consider a vacuum pump and the stock brake booster And did you consider a hydraulic pump and the stock power steering? Well, we did consider it. We briefly considered it, and we decided that's not what we want to do. One, because it didn't have power steering to begin with, and two, because we didn't want the noise associated with those pumps. Third reason, and the most important reason, is that the components we chose and installed are all electric power completely, require no additional components, have fail-safe modes, and are CAN controllable. Meaning that these smart components we put into the vehicle now upgrade our vehicle into a modern chassis. We can control left or right with computer commands. We can control forward or backwards with computer commands. We can do all of this over CAN. And the goal is to utilize that. We want to do one of three things, if not all of these three things. First one I think would be super, super cool is to make it remote controlled. Like, I don't see why we couldn't do that. Second thing that I thought would be cool as well is to make it a flat towable pusher trailer, basically. So when you're towing it, it assists in the uphills and it assists in the braking, and it works in conjunction with your main vehicle over your OBD2 harness and the CAN, and you can tow it wherever you want, and it basically affects your mileage zero, because now all of a sudden your main tow vehicle becomes a hybrid.
That'd be really neat.
That would be really neat. And the third thing we're thinking about doing, which is definitely on the roadmap and is in the plans, is we're gonna make this car drive itself. What we need to do to make that happen is we need to get a computer, we need to stick it in line, and we need to program it to talk to our vehicle. And we've been working on that in the background for quite some time. So expect to see that in a future episode. Okay, here's another question when people are curious about the Vanagon process or the conversion process. What did it cost and how long did it take you? Well, those are two really different questions, and they're very specific to our use case. It cost probably about $50,000 for the Vanagon. How long did it take? Well, it took about 2 years, working 1 day a week in the shop with my good buddy Zach, and we made it happen.
So, if you break that down to day after day after day of a full-time job, it took about 3 months.
About 3 months, yeah. And not only that, I would say our time frame is probably a little bit more extended because we were filming and editing during those periods. We also did suspension and chassis upgrades in addition to just the electrical upgrades. So we did more things in addition to that. That kind of ties into a good next question is, are we going to develop, or are we going to sell a kit? People sell kits for Vanagons. Are we going to sell one? No, we're not going to sell a kit for the Vanagon. We do not want to be in the kit selling business. But what we do want to be in is the conversion business. So for the time being, every car that we convert will be custom, designed for a specific use case, designed for a specific person. Or here's a question about where we got the parts from. Where did we get our parts from? We got our parts in a kit from EV West. It came with everything needed to do the conversion.
Turn left onto Tennessee 452 East.
Would I recommend a kit? I would say no. I would not recommend a kit. I think the exercise in finding and sourcing parts is such a great necessary exercise that I would not recommend anybody skip it.
Left onto Tennessee 452 East, then turn left onto Dale Earnhardt Drive.
Dale Earnhardt Drive, heck yeah, man. So, would I suggest somebody buys a kit? No. One, it's not going to be perfect for your vehicle. Two, it's not going to have everything you need. And three, it's not going to teach you the skills necessary for the conversion. And four, No, you're gonna pay somebody else for
Take
your
the next
time and
left
energy.
onto Dale Earnhardt Drive.
You can save that and buy sweet wheels. You can save that and buy upgraded shocks. So, I mean, just enjoy your project. If you're converting your own car,
In a
just
quarter
own
mile,
it.
turn left at Nashville Super Speedway Boulevard.
We are at the car show. There are cars everywhere. Look at these minis. Look at them.
Yeah, I'd convert that.
Here you go. Wagon right here. Gold wagon. Freaking A, man.
I would convert the bejeezers out of that.
On top of that,
I would convert the heck out of that car.
actually, that's the car.
I'd convert the heck out of that. I don't know if I could bring myself to convert that. It's really nice. All original. It'd be hard to find room for batteries, but I'd convert it. Yeah, I'd convert that. Conversion? Yes, please. I'd convert that. I'd convert that. I'd convert that too. I mean, why not? I convert that. No thanks. I convert that. I would convert that.
Doesn't say that.
I convert that. I convert that. I convert that. I convert that. And on a side note, personally, I really like that. Something about it.
Thank you. All right, we are at the car show. We have finished up all of the car show activities. About 29
miles here.
29 miles into our range. And we got about 71 more to go. Hopefully. Minus 401 volts is the high range.
Yep.
316 is the low range. So that means we have 85 volts to work with. So of our 85 volts, we've used 29. So that's about right.
Something like that.
A third of our voltage to go about 30 miles.
Yeah.
And our range is about 100. So we should be good.
Hopefully.
So we're gonna keep on trucking and see where we stop. Okay, is there room for hardware upgrades as tech improves? That was a good question. We've heard this question from one of Zach's friends.
Yeah, excellent question.
It is. Because we're putting modern components in this car, we're basically making a brand new chassis, you know? All the shocks, all the springs, all the bushings, all of the driveline, it's brand new. Wheels, tires, brand new. The only thing old about it is the chassis that connects itself. So as far as technology improvement goes, we're ready for whatever technology might advance to. When the next level of fun, cool technology comes out, we can pop it in.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing to say that once solid state comes out, solid state batteries is what I'm talking about,
Yep.
that we couldn't drop this pack. I mean, we would have to fabricate a new pack that fits, but yeah, we could put solid state batteries in here if they're ever available.
Yep.
So yeah, I mean, if you can rip out a gas motor and put in an electric motor, you can rip out an electric motor and put in a different electric motor. So
40 miles in and 355 volts. Not super bad, but a little bit lower than I expected.
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll see though. Okay, here's a question. Could an EV mechanic do maintenance on this vehicle?
Honestly, why not?
Yeah, there's no reason why they couldn't. We're not doing anything special. We're not doing anything magical. We are buying components and installing them as the manufacturer recommends and per their wiring diagrams. So if a mechanic or any person can read those schematics, they can service our vehicle. Not only that, every single one of the wires we put on the vehicle is labeled. So if in the future you don't know what the heck you're doing, you just look at the label on the wire and you can trace it back to where it goes. Hopefully. Okay, range update. We are at 60 miles on the nose. And we have 345 volts left. That's pretty good, I think.
Yeah.
We might actually make our 100 miles. It'll be close if we don't, though. So we'll see. Keep you updated. One of our more interesting questions that we're being requested to answer is kind of a, you know, seat of your pants, how do you feel about it question. And it goes like this. On a scale of 0 to 10, where 0 is standing on a boat and 10 is I'm about to die, where would you rate the feeling of the acceleration curve and how would you describe that number? You want to go first?
I mean, the first time we did it, 10. Because it surprised the crap out of us.
Okay.
It's the fastest car I've ever driven.
If you're a passenger in this car, the feeling of the acceleration curve is described as, oh, holy shit.
I believe that was a statement that was made early on.
And if you're driving the car, the feeling of the acceleration curve is, oh my gosh. Yeah? Yeah. Because the thing is, when you're driving, you put your foot down, you know it's coming. If you're a passenger, you don't know it's coming. It's instant.
And a lot of fun.
Yep. Okay. We're getting down to the end, Zach. Here's the question. Where's the merch? Question mark. I need a shirt, period.
I mean, I don't know.
It's coming. So, we do have a website. We are looking for more cars to convert in the future. I think having a shirt would be cool. So I got a couple ideas hanging around the back of my head, and we're gonna be working on making that happen. So stay tuned. If you do really want a shirt, there should be an opportunity to buy one at some point in the future.
Or maybe a hat.
Yeah, a hat, probably for sure. We got hats. 70 miles, and we're at 343 volts.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's definitely dipping when we accelerate, and it's definitely coming back up when we brake. Right now it's at 340 just for accelerating, so we lost 5 volts in accelerating.
But it definitely seems like the voltage dropped faster earlier on.
Yep.
And has like slowed. And I don't know what the reason is for that, but
I mean, we have as much charge now as we did 10 miles ago. That's what it seems like. So, alright, update another 10 miles probably. And interesting observation that we've made here in the last 30 miles or so is that the battery pack really wants to stay at 340 volts. The first 50 miles of our trip, it took us from 401 volts to 350 volts. So about a mile per volt. And for the last 30 miles, we've been at the 340 volt range. Now we're just about to drop down below it, but I mean, that's 30 miles on 10 volts. That's pretty good.
it's like you know, that old car where the gas gauge drops to half a tank super fast, and then it just like kind of
It just stays there for a minute. Yeah, yeah.
Apparently that's what we got here. So.
Yep. You guys see a Dairy Queen around here?
Yeah, it's lunchtime. It's tater tots and a
Corn dog.
Oh, corn dog. Dude, Sonic.
Give me the old peace sign, man. Yeah, he saw.
Oh, he looked
He
at us
looked. He
hard.
knew.
He was like,
A
he double
what?
teamed. He was like, electric?
Yeah, but
What?
let me get that number.
Yeah.
I think the danger high voltage sign would really bring people in.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You gotta get one. We also got a rain access windshield.
Okay, add it to the list.
Or get better windshield wipers. One or the other.
These are brand new. What's wrong with them?
Oh, maybe it just needs a couple wipes. You know how that first wipe, like it's never really all that great.
Yeah, you gotta go for the second wipe to clean all the debris off.
It kind of settles in.
Yeah, yeah. Sometimes you gotta go for the third wipe.
Yeah.
Shit, if you're not clean by the third wipe, you should just kind of wait a few minutes and
See what happens.
see what happens.
Yeah.
These windshield wipers don't make them like they used to, you know? It used to be one wipe and you're done. Maybe it's the amount of fiber in your diet.
Could be.
Okay, official reading. We are at 80 miles and we have 340
Volts.
Hold on, it's gonna go up. 341. Give me 341. Nope. 80 miles on the nose, 340 volts. Exactly.
Here's a Mach-E.
Nice. Worked on one of them. Okay, Zach. What is your favorite noise that this van makes, and can you replicate it with your vocal cords?
So I really like the regen noise. It's like kind of like this jet engine-y whine. Oh God, to reproduce it.
Yeah, let's hear it. Let's hear it.
Look, I got it. Oh, no, that's not even close. Now we just sound like whales.
It's not a buzz.
Mm-mm.
It's
like a whisper component to it almost.
You know what it sounds like? It sounds like a roots blower, doesn't it? That belt-driven noise.
Kind of, yeah.
Not as angry, but a little bit. Or like a quick change rear axle with the noisy gears. That's what it sounds like.
Because it's hard to like sort, because like with a blower, you've got the blower noise, but you've got also, it's usually on top of a giant V8 making a bunch of noise. So if you eliminated the V8 noise, I think you're right. That kind of blower whine. That's kind of what it sounds like.
Okay, we are coming up on 90 miles. And we are at 335 volts. We still have 20 more volts to go until we're out of juice.
Yeah, so at 316 is where the individual cells start to become unhappy with the amount of voltage they still have in them. So,
and that's on an average. So in theory, there are certain cells that are lower than that. So before 316 volts, we'll probably be hearing alarms.
yeah. But I mean, that could easily be another 20 miles. So
Yeah, well, I mean, if we got 20 volts and we've been getting probably about 2 miles per volt.
It could be 40 miles.
Could be 40 miles. Anyways, we'll get back to you. 10 more miles. Talk to you then. Okay, Zach, if you could convert any other car as the next vehicle we do, what kind would it be?
So I'm on the lookout for a wagon. I want a wagon so bad. And they're not too big. They're still kind of small and light. They're rear-engined, which is perfect for swaps, as we learned here, because the Tesla motors are rear-engine right there. I think that would be a really cool swap. I can't say 100% that's the car I would pick to do next, but it's got to be up there.
I think it'd be really cool to build something small and stupid agile.
Yeah.
Not like BMW convertible small, but like even smaller than that, like smart car small, or Mini Cooper small.
I've thought that. I would really like to do that, but it's not going to take as many batteries because it's very small, but it'd be really hard to fit batteries in a Mini Cooper.
Okay guys, big moment. It is official. We have crested 100 miles in our Vanagon.
Yay!
And we are still at 323 volts.
Yeah, I don't remember if we caught this on video earlier, but there was a little anxiety that we'd only get like 80 miles and be like, oh gosh, dang it. But it looks like we're going to get something closer to like 110.
Yep, yep.
I'm stoked.
We might even get 120 if we're being cautious. But that said, this entire trip, we haven't been driving extremely cautious. We've just been driving like...
Yeah, just driving.
Just driving like you got kids in the car. You know, nothing stupid.
Yeah. I haven't been doing the, you know, hammer it at the stoplight every now and then because, you know, we are doing a range test.
Yep.
But I've just been driving normal.
Yeah. There was 1 or 2 moments where it was like, okay, I got to get around this car in order to like make the turn or get off in traffic.
Yeah.
So there's a little bit of zoom and then get around, but honestly nothing.
But that's normal. That's how you drive. So
yeah.
This is a real world example and I'm really happy with the results so far.
So 100 miles in, 10 more volts to go. We're gonna keep going. Oh, did you hear that?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's the first one, first alarm. 324 volts on acceleration uphill. We got our first warning. We should still have 10 more volts to go.
Yeah.
But that said, we got our warning. We've reached our 100 miles. We should probably be looking for a place to load up.
For a minute there, I was really thinking we were going to get like 110, 120, but we're not. But it's right where we thought it was going to be, 100 miles, and I'm happy with that. A little over 100 miles. So, rock and roll.
All right, we're going to show you the trailer here in a second, and we'll be loaded up and ending this episode.
We got 105 miles out of her, and we're happy with that. Like I said a million times already, we were worried we weren't gonna get it, but we did. It's really nice. Yeah, success. Yay. See you at the house.